Good morning, church. I'm going to be opening up our next kind of little campaign on the Psalms, and the Psalm I'm choosing to speak on today is on Psalm 139. Now, you may be asking why that one specifically stands out for me, and I guess it's a personal one. I guess a few years ago, I was going through a pretty dark time. I'd say self-diagnosed depression would be adequate to say the least. And I heard this song called You Know Me by Stephanie Gretzinger. She's part of the Bethel Church. I just wanted to, I guess, in that and seeing the power of the words in that song when I listened to it, how that began the turnaround in me. I just researched it and found those words very similar to the words found in Psalm 139. So that's what we'll be digging into, and I've broken it up into 4 small sections, just bite-sized pieces for us to kind of engage with. So I've titled it Being Known by Him. And I've titled it The Omniscient and Omnipresent God Knows You. So our first section, what I'll do is I'll read the section and then I'll go into, I guess, the key point to take from it. So firstly, let me read it. So, you have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. You hem me in behind and before me, and you lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. And I guess with that, my titling that first section, The Omniscient God, is to be completely known by Him. Now, I guess it can be easy to say, oh, I knew what you did, or I know what you're going to do. But actually, it can be a very different frame of mind to say, actually, I know exactly what you're thinking right now. I think that brings about a deeper level of intimacy that God wants us to know, and for that to be real for us. Actually, the troubles and what you're facing right now, He knows that completely right now in this very moment. And that's made evident in just when you look in verse 2, you see it says, you know when I sit and when I rise. It's that active present tense setting that the words kind of speak to us in the now. So God knows me completely, and He knows me in the here and now. I'll move on to the second section. I kind of see that as the idea of the omnipresent God. So let me read verse 7 to 12. So it says, where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for the darkness is as light to you. And I think this section speaks of His constant presence, where we saw actually He was present in knowing us. Actually, this section speaks of His present in being with us in the situations we're facing. I think also speaks about our inability to escape Him. Now, for when people hear that either puts you in 2 camps, I believe. Potentially for those of us who know Him and have a loving relationship and identify Him as Father, we can have a freedom to kind of, I guess, to be confident and assured that we are held safe and He is with us. But for those of us maybe who don't know Him in that way as a Father and that Creator God who is intimately close to us, it can be fearful and actually even daunting knowing that this being, this perfect being is actually present with me in my day-to-day. You may even want to run away from it. Potentially I think of a child who let's say you take a child to the playground, and for them knowing that their loving parent is sitting on the sideline, they can have that confidence to climb the highest structure, knowing that should something go wrong, that their parent is there to kind of pick them up. And I think that's how we've got to be as children in God's eyes in that way. Well, the next section is what I put as the Creator God. So verse 13 to 18. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book, before one of them even came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them, were I to count them. They would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. Here, this section, the Creator God, who knows us completely, who is present with us, is also our perfect Creator. You will maybe have come across some of the words in this section specifically as I think they're kind of general encouragements that are passed around in the Christian world, and actually for some who might recognize it, it's quite significant in the abortion debate, and obviously I won't go into that today, but why I mention it is because it's a real key argument for us identifying that God gives us value before we're even born. You know, for you who need to hear that today, God has put value in you before you even knew it. And I think when we acknowledge that, I mean, He is the person who gives me value, but also is the person who knows me completely. Therefore, He's the most qualified person to fix me. You know, I imagine if a mechanic who knows all the parts of an engine can break it down and put it together because he knows all the parts fully well, then how much more intricate are you, and how much more capable is God? You know, He is the one to consult with when you need fixing. And the last section of that passage, I'd say, is I titled it as the Holy God. Now, I'll read it. So, if only you, God, would slay the wicked. Away from me, you who are bloodthirsty. They speak of you with evil intent. Your adversaries misuse your name. Do I not hate those who hate you, Lord, and abhor those who are in rebellion against you? I have nothing but hatred for them. I count them my enemies. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. If there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. I think this section is quite different to the previous three, where the focus is on the adversity that is being faced and the challenges, and actually, speaking of direct enemies, they're potentially even a life-threatening sort. But I think what is interesting there is the state to be set apart. It's actually for those who stay away from me, you who are bloodthirsty. Do I not hate those who hate you, Lord? Search me, God, and know my heart. There's a sense there that the writer is putting across that actually, regardless of the enemy coming for them, Lord, let me be identified by being different to them, because you are different. And I guess I wanted to go into a bit of the background of the text, because I think it's helpful to tie it all in together when we've looked at the four sections. So we see God as the present God, the all-knowing God, the present God, the Creator God, and the Holy God. And actually, this text, this Psalm 139, is believed to have been written by David at the moment just before he becomes king. So potentially it could be at the time where he's being persecuted by Saul's men. And so that would link to the adversity he may be facing. But additionally to that, it is believed that David wrote this psalm, in effect using the words from Adam based in Genesis. When we look at sections 2 and 3 from verse 7 to 18, we see He describes a very a very present God, and a creator God, and an inability to escape God. And so with that, I think it just speaks into what we need to take as a church and the direction we're going in. I believe David, even facing adversity, has focused himself on the grandeur of God, understanding the creator God, that the words used by Adam, and is able to speak solely on a place of knowing him and appreciate being known by him. So I guess with that, what we want to take away from this is that God is concerned with you, and he is bigger than your problems. Now, some of us in this season may have felt hopeless. We may have lost jobs, failed in plans, and suffered with numerous health issues. But when we focus on God, how do we come across? Do we come to him pleading our burdens and struggles, as if hoping that God might be able to put a lot of duct tape on a broken pipe? Or do we trust that he will be able to fix everything and restore everything for his good? And when I say that, I want to be sensitive that, obviously I'm not belittling the problems, but I think we're at a serious critical point that we want to make sure we're not belittling the importance and the grandeur of who God is. And so with that, actually, I would like to move into a time of response. What I'll do is, I just want to read the last two verses of that psalm, and then I'm going to invite Andy to come up and pray for us. And while that's happening, then we're going to play a song in the background for you to, I guess, just reflect on where you stand with God, what your relationship with him is. And in that time, if you want to receive prayer, do put prayer if you have specific needs of prayer that you want to receive for. But also I'd say specifically, if you don't have that relationship with God as Father, as your Creator, as the omnipresent knowing God, then maybe just write "lead me," and we can put a sense of prayer specifically for you to build that relationship with him. And so before I pass over, the last two verses go, "Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting."